Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm MrRedClaw. Welcome back to some more World of Tanks, where today we are going to be watching Nornik playing in the tier 10 Polish heavy tank, the 60 TP. Now this is just a beast of a tank, probably one of the most best kind of monster, like heavy tanks in the game. You know, you've got this, you've got the mouse, you've got the E100, you've got the Type 5 Heavy. What else do you really have? I mean, the IS-4 kind of, but it's not really like as powerful as that kind of tier of kind of like top tier, like heavy tanks. Now Nornik is playing on the Tundra map, so you've basically got two locations to go in a heavy tank on Tundra. Either this location where Nornik is going onto the hill, or where three of Nornik's teammates are going on the other side, or even five maybe. The west kind of valley over there, but that's, I honestly haven't been there in years. I'm not even joking, I haven't been in that side, on that side of the map in years, because it's just so irrelevant most of the time, and it's just so, you just don't really have anywhere to go over there. You just kind of go, haul down, hope to penetrate the target, then go back, reload, then it's basically just that over and over again. But this side of the map, way more rewarding for when you do well. It's still a camp off basically, as we are seeing over here, and we look at like Nornik's team and the enemy team. Now the object 277 actually penetrated straight through, I guess, like this kind of weak part of the upper hull, this kind of more flat part, and that is a weak point on this tank, along with of course the lower plate, and well, these you have to really kind of aim for them, but these kind of cupolas are also, oh, I paused it instead of going into the other camera. Yeah, those are the weak points. You have to watch out for it, of course. You know, it's good that a tank has weak points so you can actually take it out, and not like, you know, an Object 279. I mean, it has some weak points, but they're definitely not, you know, as accessible as the weak points on, you know, any other normal tank. Not really sure why that Object 430 is firing high explosive rounds. You must maybe have a stock gun or something. But actually, I don't think that. I think that tank has the top gun straight away. Is it the top turret? I really can't remember. Now, Nornik gets caught out over here by well, we're getting tracked by all of these tanks, and the 60 TP had a nice shot into the side of Nornik's tank over there. Actually looks like a weird penetrating shot, but yes, it did penetrate. He was over-angled towards the 60 TP, and now, from the 2,630 hit points that they have had at the start, now down to 960. So, you know, still enough to take a shell from all of the more heavily armoured things, but actually talking about it now, taking that shell from a 121B, firing heat, he has now a one-shot towards that 60 TP, so now, you know, you have to watch out, and you know, that Object 277, if he rolls slightly high, you know, that's a guaranteed shot as well. Oh, that was a weird penetrating shell if that would have gone in on to the enemy 60 TP, but it didn't. It failed to hit, and Nornik bounces from the enemy 60 TP up to 1 kill, 3,500 damage, 3,260 damage blocked. So really a good way to showcase, I guess, the good capabilities and the armor capabilities of this tank. I actually have just realized that Nornik doesn't have any heat rounds. I don't think he had any at the start. Maybe if he did, he already fired them, but I mean, he's only put in like 10 shells, so he either had a really low amount of heat, or Nornik doesn't use premium rounds. Now he is also using a manual fire extinguisher along with a small repair kit and med kit, so maybe Nornik is a mostly free-to-play player, which, I mean, isn't, you know, out of the ordinary, but, you know, when you get towards, you know, the tier 10 mark, you know, even after like tier 7, you know, those tier 8s, really hard to earn credits in if you don't know what you are doing exactly. You know, you have to get penetrating shells in, don't spam, you know, premium rounds. Really hard to spam if you don't have any. So Nordic might be a free-to-play player in a tier 10 tank, which is nice to see, you know, someone actually knowing where to aim instead of just firing heat rounds, you know, just all the time. Now, a little bit of a rushed shell towards that 5A over there, but I think what Nordic didn't want was to get hit by the 5120 who was on his side, because, you know, 580 hit points is still a decent amount. You know, still take a shell from the Super Conqueror, from the 430U, from the E75, from the 430, the Ag Tiger, you know, a 50-50 pretty much, and the 705A, probably like a 30 to 40% chance of actually surviving that shell. But, you know, still enough hit points to take a hit from majority of the remaining tanks left on the enemy team, which is something that you really have to watch out for sometimes, because, you know, you can take a hit, you know, if you get surprised by an enemy tank from a different location, or your armor fails. You always want to have, you know, a little bit of backup of hit points, just in case something like that happens, because, I mean, you know, you lose those hit points, you're dead, and, you know, you want to stay in it for as long as you can to either win the game or do as much damage as you can before losing the game. But Nordic and his teammates have successfully won the hill. I mean, they did have quite a lot of enemies over here to kind of contend with, you know, 60 TP, 4502B, 277-121B. I mean, we had the E75, which has fallen back. Centurion 71 was at the back. 5120 was also kind of lurking in the back. The 430 was also up on top of the hill. Now, those last couple of shots for Nordic not really working out. Maybe just, you know, trying to get lucky shells in. You know, the 60 TP isn't the most accurate. It's not the worst. You know, it is like a Gorilla 15 or something. You have to really know where you're aiming. Oh, that was a really, really nice shell towards the E75. Now, quickly falling back because the Yak Tiger doesn't have the longest of reloads, and definitely enough penetration, even on the standard rounds, to go through the front of the 60 TP. Now, what is Nordic going to do? They actually looked pretty well at one point, but now they have actually fallen back. I'm not really sure the exact number of hit points because the Super Conqueror and 705A are out of range of the render distance. But looking at it, they're down 1,800 damage. They're equal on kills, but, you know, that Yak Tiger on full hit points towards the back is a really, really dangerous tank to keep alive, especially on full hit points. And now it's only Nordic left alone with the IS-7. I was going to say the T-74E1 as well, but just Nordic and the IS-7 against... Oh, that was a really good blind shell over there. Knowing where the object 430 was going, putting in that shell, and that was really, really dangerous. A really, really important shell to put in, because that was the last kind of really mobile tank left on the enemy team with good view range and camo, and that was a really, really important shell. Now that IS-7, really, really good job done over there, killing the Yak Tiger, who was on full hit points. The Yak Tiger, he must have, you know, the IS-7 must have face hugged the Yak Tiger. The Yak Tiger don't have enough gun depression to shoot down on the lower plate of the IS-7. IS-7 takes him out, but now the IS-7 is really, really far away from Nordic. Alone with an object 705A, has just penetrated the IS-7 once, and a Super Conqueror, and oh, that shell was just really, really kind of late and went really, really high. The shell velocity on the AP rounds is only 900 meters a second, so that is really slow. And you know, the Super Conqueror enough speed forwards to get out of range over there of the shell. The second shell towards the Super Conqueror though goes in. You know, that leaves Nordic in a 1 vs 2 against the 705A and the Super Conqueror. Now, if that first shell would have gone in towards the Super Conqueror, it would have been a 1 vs 1, and that would have been, you know, a lot less stressful on Nordic, especially since that 705A, hopefully Nordic can put a shell in before he gets spotted, and oh no, it gets caught by the tracks of the 705A. Then Nordic proceeds to bounce the Super Conqueror and the Object 705. And I was about to say, why are you turning Nordic? You're still out in the open to the Sonkara, to the Super Conqueror, who's most likely either over there or over there, and your kind of little base pool of hit points left is now gone. 128 hit points. So a high explosive round from the 705A in the right spot would most likely take out Nordic with one shell. And the Super Conqueror, I mean, probably 2 rounds, and that would be it for Nordic over there. And oh, another bounce. Nordic, you really have to just wait with these shells sometimes, because now you have about a 15-second reload, and you're probably most likely getting trapped in from both sides of the hill by the Super Conqueror and the Object 705A. Really, really not good. What is Nordic going to do here? There's the Super Conqueror. Not really sure why he goes out sideways. Maybe thought that that Nordic was still reloading or aiming in on the Object 705A. But 6 kills, 6,000 damage, 4,700 damage blocked. Is Nordic going to be able to take out this final remaining tank left on the enemy team? Nordic still going in too fast with these shells. You have to wait until you know where to aim. Take your time, Nordic. These shells really, really matter. And maybe, you know, at least have 2 heat rounds in your tank at all times, because the Object 705 would probably be dead by now if you had 2 heat rounds. I mean, the AP rounds have, what, about 240 penetration average, and 370 millimeters on the heat rounds. That would be more than enough to go through the spaces that Nordic has been shooting the Object 705 at these couple of times already. Oh, the engine deck, there you go, brilliant shell over there. Now just really wiggle around, hope that the Object 705 doesn't hit you. He is running away, knowing that he doesn't really have a chance, and the only chance he has to maybe get above the 60 TP. But now, both tanks on a one-shot. Nordic decides that he wants to chase the Object 705 down. The TNHT VZ51 says good luck to Nordic, and you definitely need a little bit of that for engagements like this. Now, what is Nordic going to do? He hasn't chased the Object 705A up onto the hill. He has fallen back, using his really, really good turret to get in a shot. Oh, brilliant. The Object 705A. Not really sure what that was by him. Nordic's teammate congratulate him for a really, really good game. And I'm not really sure what happened towards that 705A towards the end for him to just go out sideways. Maybe he thought that Nordic was closer over here. Maybe he wanted to, you know, bait Nordic out with the frontal armor of that 705A. But still, a victory for Nordic in the 60 TP on Tundra. Let's look at the post-game stats. Let's see how Nordic did in this game. So as we see over here, an ace tanker, a steel wall, a high caliber, and a top gun for Nordic in the 60 TP. Looking in 7,070 damage. That is, I'm pretty sure, even more than what Nordic actually did. Let's look. That must have been a slight... Oh yeah, of course, against the Object 430. 7 kills, 1,512 base experience. And because Nordic, I'm pretty sure, fired no heat rounds, maybe a couple, but I'm not really sure, I don't think so. And with a premium account, 26,000 credits profit in a tier 10. Really, really good game from Nordic over here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.